I'm telling you, all these libraries and different places and schools that are encouraging this gender transition, they better watch out, because there are lawsuits coming down the pike. Fox Varian, who sued both her psychologist and her surgeon for malpractice surrounding the double mastectomy that she received at 16 years old. They were both found liable. Ms. Varian was awarded $2 million. So you better get busy and get those books out of your little kids section with the pronouns, or you too might be liable, library people. There's a book from the youth section that had a picture of a minor that was doing something sexual with somebody. Books that literally described how to get onto hookup apps. Folks, that crosses the line from just normal cultural differences and freedom of speech to recruitment.
You think it's not in your community, you really need to go look.
Welcome, everyone, to the Patriot Project on Mugwump Media. Kevin, I think this is the week. I think that what we hinted about in the last program, the meeting we went to, I think we should talk about it this week.
What meeting?
What meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always the last Tuesday of every month here in Christian County. Well, they're not as crazy as they used
meeting.
to be. Oh, yeah,
yes.
That meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Not a lot of entertainment, not a lot of fun, but
I know.
It's always lively.
I tell you what, though, I'm so thankful right off the bat. I just want to say we've been involved in dealing with our local library for, almost 3 years now. And I am so thankful for the commissioners, the local commissioners, because they actually decided Christian County is a pretty red county. It's 80% for the most part that votes conservative and 20% that's liberal. At the very worst, it's 75-25. And you know, the thing about local schools, libraries, everything needs to reflect the citizens. We have a pretty conservative citizenry, right? And we started noticing a few years ago, about probably 3 or 4 years ago actually, a little bit beyond that, that our library did not reflect our local government, for sure, and our citizens. We started hearing little whispers. Our daughter, of course, she homeschools, and homeschoolers have to use the public library. They have to, because they have to have books for their kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, they already pay for public school, and they usually stay home and pay for the schooling for their kids, too. They don't have the money to go out and buy a bunch of books. Plus, we all pay lots of taxes here in Christian County. So, you know, it's a good thing to have some good books in the library. Well, we started hearing about some of the things that were there. The first thing I heard was that there was stickers that were being handed out, Kevin.
I remember that.
They had pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
They were handing them out to little kids. Now, why would you hand out he, she, him, her, them, they pronoun stickers to little kids at a public library in Christian County?
Mm-hmm.
The next thing that we heard about, my daughter said, Mom, she said, I'm not going to be able to take the kids to the library anymore because these books are scattered everywhere. And I'm going to say right up front, I understand every community is different. Every community has tax-paying citizens. Kevin and I get that. And it's fine if people want to read books, you know. Not every library can have every book. So these people that say, well, you're book banning. No, not every library can have every book. So it's a good idea to have library board members that reflect the community, that hire a director, that curates a collection that's going to be widely expanded, that is going to hopefully reflect everybody in Christian County. Let's just say this one didn't really reflect Christian County. I'm not sure what it reflected.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
This was not just the normal cultural differences that people have either.
No.
This was well beyond that. I was shocked. The first meeting I walked into, our state representative was sitting right next to me. He handed me a book. I don't even want to say what it said, what it had on it. But basically, it was a book from the children's section or the youth section that had a picture of a minor that was doing something sexual with somebody. Couldn't really see who it was. And I can remember sitting there and just flushing hot and thinking, what the heck is this? Before it was all over with, there was a book that was put together by one of the citizens that had a collection of what was in all of these books and the names of the books, and that the reviews through Book Looks basically had done a great job putting it together, and it was shocking. And like I said, this was beyond just the normal cultural people differences of assorting a collection of curated books. This was pornography. As I looked through the book, I saw different people, usually kids, in the pictures. And the way that they get around this, you might think, well, why didn't somebody arrest them? Why were they having pornography in a library? Well, the way that they get around it, at least in Missouri, is rather than having actual photographs in which they would be illegal, as far as I know, what they would do is they would have drawings, very articulate illustrations. Let's just say that you don't have any doubt of what it's a drawing of, and it's all depicting minors, of course. And honestly, I'm just going to say this too, folks. I'm an equal opportunity critic. I don't discriminate. I don't care who it is that's having sex. If it's a boy and a girl or two boys and two girls, it's all sex. It's all pornography, and it doesn't belong in the kids section for little kids to pick it up and start learning. Really, it's pornography. Mm-hmm. So because of that, Kevin and I got involved. Between that and the transgender stuff in the little kids sections, the board books. You have two sections. You have the youth sections, which is 12 years old and up, 6th grade and up. And that's where a lot of the really nasty stuff was. Books that literally described how to get onto hookup apps and that type of thing. Yeah. And then, of course, the board books were the ones that would have little boys and little girl dresses, and Sparkle Boy, I think, was one of them. The pronoun book. And in the pronoun book, again, these were little kids' books down where they could pick them up. Because of ALA policies, they refused to put anything on them to say what was in those books. So parents couldn't easily see what it was. And basically, you would just have the kids would grab a book, come over and show it to the parents, and then they would scream, put it down, and exit the library. And that's why a lot of people stopped going to the library. In the pronoun book, I can remember, Kevin, it had pictures of boys and girls, men and women, that they would have he, she, different pronoun signs on them. And the most chilling one, this was a little kid's illustrated book that had a picture that was obviously a girl that had been operated on and had surgical scars on her chest where they had removed her breast. I didn't even know what to think about that. Folks, that crosses the line from just normal cultural differences and freedom of speech to recruitment.
And it's very blatant and very just out in the open. And there's really no way you can talk about these or describe these things without. Yeah. I still get angry. It's really the harm it does to children. And it's not natural for us to let our children be exposed to that, or our neighbor's children, or any child for that matter. It's just not natural to allow that. No.
And folks, what had happened is there was a bond issue that had been passed, and a whole bunch of money. How much was it?
I don't know. It's upwards of close to $4 million a year budget.
Yeah, that they had decided, everybody, let's have a nice library. But what had happened is they had somebody had gotten in there and started bringing in their liberal friends, is what had happened. And, the well-meaning conservative commissioners just assumed, if somebody was brought up there to be rubber stamped, they probably, the present board members probably picked some good ones. Well, it got away from them. And what ended up happening is you had a self-fulfilling circle of liberals that basically just started bringing in books. Folks, if I were you, if you're in a different state or a different county, I would go check out the libraries, not just the school, but also the county library. Look at what you're paying for.
Yes.
And again, every library has to collect its own books. You can't have every book, and you can always get books from interlibrary loan. Lord knows they don't have a lot of conservative books. We're getting a few more, which is great, as the board members have all been changed out, and God bless them. They're all working hard trying to make a lot of changes. They got out of the ALA. The American Library Association is terrible. I'm just going to say they're terrible. And if your library is in it, folks, you might need to go check out your library and talk to your commissioners is all I got to say. Because, Anyway.
Or however it's handled. It's not all commissioners, but our commissioners fortunately had the ability to go ahead and represent us. And
good folks.
They started representing
really good
the citizens, yes.
So and it's still a challenge, and it will be for a while, and we've been at this for 2.5, close to 3 years.
Yep.
So, but it's definitely worth it. It's something that we need to take, as General Flynn says, you have to take control of what's going on, school boards, everything in your local area. It's very important.
I'll never forget the first time I heard him say, you've got to start getting involved. There were so many things going on in the world, all these big things, and he was the first one that said, you need to get involved in your libraries and your school boards and your town halls. And I thought, that's just small stuff, but it's not. It's big stuff, and it's been a target, and they have went in and they have captured. Caused mayhem all through our country. And if you think it's not in your community, you really need to go look, and you've got to look for it sometimes. But
and that doesn't mean that you have to do everything. Even if all you do, we have some wonderful folks that just show up to the library board meetings and pray. They pray for us. They talk to us. They encourage the board members. So, it's good. And you can make a difference just by doing that.
Absolutely.
I had a couple of things I was going to read to you. As far as, I'm telling you, all these libraries and different places and schools that are encouraging this gender transition, they better watch out, because there are lawsuits coming down the pike. They want to be on the right side of history. They think they're going to get sued by the ALA. They better be scared of being sued by these detransitioners, let me tell you. This was an article from the Epic Times, which tells about a young lady just recently named Fox Varian, who sued both her psychologist and her surgeon for malpractice surrounding the double mastectomy that she received at 16 years old. They were both found liable. Ms. Varian was awarded $2 million, and 2 other high-profile transgender surgery cases are now headed to trial. This is only the beginning. So you better get busy and get those books out of your little kids section with the pronouns, or you too might be liable, library people. The other thing I was going to read to you, just to kind of prove this out, people say, well, it's just porn. It's not a big deal. It's not even a picture. It's just a drawing. Let me tell you, folks, there's more to it than that. I actually saw something. This was a couple of days ago. It was a podcast. It was from a series called The Upgrade by a gentleman named Mackay Albert. Not sure where he was from, but he was actually featured. It was excellent. He was featured on the Epic Times online, so I received it in my email. The title of the podcast was Researchers Scanned Porn Users' Brains. They looked like the brains of drug addicts. Yeah, and again, people that are adults, I suppose they can do what they want. If they want to go change their bodies, to a different sex, supposedly, or if they want to go listen to porn, I suppose that's their thing. I hate it because it's not good for them. It wastes their life. But definitely children don't need this, for sure, and that's my focus. The video starts out by pointing to several shocking statistics. Pornography is among the most widespread habits worldwide, Kevin. Those of us who want to believe differently are shocked to learn, according to statistics, that 60% of Americans view this porn regularly. 70% men, 40% women. And it starts, get this, an average of around the age of 11. 11-year-olds with phones too early and not monitored, and books. It's readily available anytime on many platforms. One website alone receives over 42 billion visits per year. That's more than Netflix, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest combined. It's free, it's private, and in the moment, it feels good after you get past the disgust, but almost nobody talks about what it does to you. As a matter of fact, many viewers try to discount it as being harmless, but recent studies over the last few years are proving that that complacent attitude is dangerously incorrect. In 2025, a study came out of a medical university that was published in Frontiers of Human Neuroscience. College students were invited to participate, and they were separated into two groups. One group was people, who were considered to be, they had seen it, or they were occasional viewers, not somebody that necessarily went to it all the time. They'd seen it. The other group was people with admitted severe pornography addiction. The groups each watched the same pornographic 10-minute video, while researchers tracked everything in real time: brain activity, vital signs, heart rate, even facial expressions. Now, after the video, all the participants took the Stroop test. Now, that is a psychological standard, the gold standard test that measures attention, reaction time, and cognitive control. Basically, they monitored everything that was going on in these college kids. Now, the occasional viewers, they reacted as you would expect. They showed normal emotional reactions like surprise, and some of them even showed disgust. Their brains processed the content and moved on, a normal response. But when the researchers looked at the data from the severe pornography-addicted group, the results were alarming, much different. According to the researchers, the brain patterns of frequent pornography users look remarkably similar to those seen in people addicted to opioids, drug addicted. The areas of the brain responsible for decision-making, self-control, and reward anticipation were activated in a super concentrated way. It was all lit up. That was not present with the occasional viewers, of course. Basically, the research shows that pornography changes your brain. It changes how you process emotions, and it changes your ability to think clearly and deliberately, affecting both focus and accuracy. The porn-addicted person experiences intense highs, while they are often also plagued by emotional blunting and desensitivity, like drugs.
Yep. Well, and unfortunately, this leads to issues. They always, when they're involved in that so much, it gets to where to find anything new or anything exciting, it turns
more and more
to the children.
This goes there.
That's where they go.
This sounds exactly like alcohol and drug addiction.
Yep.
The next line, it numbs you to real intimacy while demanding more and more stimulation to feel something.
Yep.
Marriages are ruined by this.
Yes.
It basically
children.
Numbs you to real intimacy. Over time, the dopamine release is not enough. The brain builds tolerance, like alcohol and drugs, while what once produced arousal no longer works. So it's no surprise that viewers seek more and more content more frequently, and often the content becomes more extreme. Now, I didn't cover the whole video, but what that went on to say is as they asked them more questions, the two groups, one of the big differences that they noticed was a numbing of emotion. Whenever they showed pictures of men and women, being intimate, and perhaps the woman was pushing away, and there was obviously a conflict between the two different people getting together. The first group, the ones that were not really necessarily viewers, but just had seen them or were occasional, were like, oh, they were upset. This is not consensual. Rape. They were thinking about rape. They were upset by it. The other ones, the line was blurred between consensual and non-consensual. And what's scary about that is I'm going to read something else that documents older people that sometimes turn into rapists and other things because of the desensitization and the need for more arousal.
On the TV lately, the Epstein files coming out, the more that comes out, the more it shows how it degrades the person into somebody that just doesn't care about other people.
Yeah.
And then eventually children become just something.
Yeah. As time goes on, this is sad too, viewing stops being a choice and becomes a compulsion. And this behavior increases the likelihood that someone will keep watching even when it starts to take priority over work, over relationships, and even over their own well-being. That sounds like alcoholics that will drink themselves to death, literally. This is a letter, and I actually included this in one of my 3-minute speeches because Kevin and I we did a lot of speaking at the public meetings.
Well, when they let us. I was asked to leave once. Well, maybe more than once.
They called the cops once.
Yeah.
They ended up with a police. Kevin's a bad boy, I'm telling you, folks.
No, I'm just not. I don't have any tolerance for children being harmed.
Yeah. If you guys want to get some entertaining videos, you should go back about 2.5 years to the Christian County Library videos. I think they probably still have them online. There were some dandies, let me tell you. This was called Exposure to Pornography, a Form of Sexual Trauma. This lady is a clinical psychologist. She interviewed not kids, but older people in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s, and the result of early pornography exposure. The name of the article was written for the Journal of Psychiatry Reform. That was what she put it in. It was by Dr. Carolyn Giroux, an associate clinical professor at the University of California, Davis Medical Center. She was from California. She cited multiple examples of particular cases of young men. These were young men in their teens, late teens to early 20s, whom she had treated that were displaying lewd, self-destructive, or even criminal behavior among the general public. Dr. Giroux boiled the cause down to one common denominator in each case. Each of these young men had been exposed to pornographic material at a young age, planting seeds of perversion, both with the perversion of this pornographic stuff put in books and on phones, but also the transgender stuff, planting seeds. That's what it's doing, and it comes to fruition later as the kids get older. She went on to say, exposing children to pornography should be forbidden and better regulated. This is a clinical psychologist from California.
Yes, I think it is.
But should be better regulated and forbidden as it is violating their spiritual boundaries and evolving beliefs around body, sexual development, and intimate relationships in a similar way that direct sexual abuse on their body does. She's comparing it to actual abuse, that it does the same thing to their minds.
Yep.
This trauma is, if this trauma is not identified and addressed promptly, folks, the survivor runs the risk, this is chilling, of reenacting as an attempt to resolve what once left him or her powerless. Victims. They become the predator. Or of even engaging in similar criminal behaviors. In plain language, that means that the victims who either see the porn at a young age or are abused are at risk of becoming abusers themselves. One of the young men that Ms. Giroux cited in her article, a suicidal 16-year-old Kevin, admitted that he had first seen porn on a phone at 6 years old. Dr. Giroux closed her article with this statement: until our society becomes more aware to the point of preventing this by regulating access of materials more effectively, psychotherapy should be the main intervention to address the unresolved trauma. People have a very difficult time getting over this by themselves. I don't know if you guys have seen the commercials on YouTube now, basically trying to talk to people, telling them, we can help you if you've got porn abuse problems. One thing that they did say in the video that this is very helpful, it's a treatment called acceptance and commitment therapy. And it's 92% effective in reducing porn over time, porn addiction. And half of them, 50%, actually quit. So it's good. One of their mottos is build something so meaningful that the craving loses its grip. Yeah. It's demonic, Kevin.
Yes.
And, that bottled booze is not a demon. That those drugs aren't a demon. Those books aren't demons. But they are, the books are written by pedophiles, obviously. Libraries are buying books from pedophiles. Why else would somebody with a journalism degree and working for a high-powered publisher, why else would you target children with these books? I don't get it.
Scriptures give us so many warnings about that. And if you really look at the Bible and go back and kind of count the times that we're warned about sexual sin, there's so many warnings there because it harms everyone involved.
Yes.
There's so many scriptures I could quote, but I'm not going to at this point because I think the information's necessary. What we've learned is we have to go out in the public square and we have to share this, and people don't know what's being done and how much harm. And, it never really hit me. And the first time it hit me was when we went to a revival out here, Sean Foyt.
Yes.
And we were out there in a tent.
I remember that.
And it was the biggest revival I'd been to. I mean, they had a big tent, and it was a cold March day, and it was raining, and there was so many people there, they couldn't fit in that tent. But when they gave the invitation, they said, clear the way, and basically the tent had to empty out. And when the invitation was given for people to come and pray and seek God and ask for forgiveness, right before he told everybody to come forward, all at once he said, throw it down here at the altar. Throw down what's coming between you and God. And I saw cell phones coming from everywhere. Everybody was throwing their cell phone in there. And I looked at Wanetta and I said, what's up with that?
Yeah.
And I looked over to the lady next to me, and somebody finally said it. I don't know who it was that said it, but they said pornography.
Addiction.
And I looked and I thought, oh my goodness. It was just shocking how many people are in that circumstance. And
70%.
They're looking for a way out, and they need help. Yes. But the root of it, and this is some of that stuff that has got our young population has been exposed to this, and this is how. One of the ways is through this library material.
Yes.
It's frightening. It's frightening. It needs dealt with. We have to do something.
And the church has not. We became I tell you what, one reason we love Pastor Reggie, some pastors are stepping up. Some churches are, but not many.
It's a hard thing to step up to. It really is. But we have to. We're not supposed to be following the world to hell and allowing our kids to go to hell.
Back. Your kids are going to be
We're supposed to be leading the world to Christ. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Anyway, but there is treatment for it for sure.
Yes.
And man, God's still on the throne, and He's there for them too.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Well, folks, thanks for visiting today. It's kind of a heavy subject. I told Kevin, I hope they don't get depressed by this, but it's an important one.
It is.
It really is. This is something that I've had on my heart for a while. And when I saw that video, I thought, oh, man, this is good. I need to share it with you guys to let you know. Kevin and I have a heart for the next generation.
Yes.
They don't need to be encumbered by this stuff.
No.
They really don't. They need to be healthy and happy and free of addiction of all sorts.
Well, scriptures tell us that we're supposed to be, we're supposed to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength, and love your neighbors yourself. And this kind of stuff just destroys both of those relationships. It just ends it if it goes too far. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, folks, you might check out your local libraries and see what's going on there, for sure. We hope you'll be back again next week. Bring a friend with you, of course. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and pass this important news along. Mm-hmm. We'll come back with something more upbeat next week. Oh, we're going to be interviewing Lisa and Bert here before too long. Get an update.
That's exciting.
I know. I love it when
They're
come
both
and hang
very
out with us.
lively.
So it'll be a more upbeat. Like I said, this was a serious one because it's been on our heart, and this is one of our things that we've been working on. Mm-hmm. And it's been a long road, but we've made it. And nobody got hauled off to jail.
Well, not yet. Hopefully we don't.
It's really good. Yeah. We're feisty old folks, for sure. Folks, when we return next week, we're going to bring you more news, more information, always more conversation. And we always want to keep you informed, inspired, and folks, always stay independent. God bless.